right, let's get into this Sunday's game and the LA Rams and the Bengals, and in particular the Rams, because I think we both feel it's going to be fairly plain sailing for the Rams, even with the vagaries of a London game and the travel and everything else. It shouldn't be a complicated day at the office for McVay and co. The question is, given the blips they've had this season and the obvious problems they've got compared to last year, can you see the Rams heading back to the Super Bowl? Can you see them winning the NFC Championship?
I think it's going to be tough. I think when you look at the NFC, just how loaded it is.
Right.
And I think already I could say New Orleans, San Francisco, Green Bay.
Buying San Francisco.
I am. I think they're built to last. It's bizarre, isn't it? We would never have thought that in the season, in the off-season. And now we'd be surprised if they're not right there or thereabouts at the end.
I think everyone was getting a little bit carried away with Garoppolo falling off a cliff. And I know he hasn't exactly been instrumental in their success, but I think that his relative stability...
Yeah. It just needs to be stable in that offense.
Exactly.
And with that running game,
right.
offensive line, they've lost both their tackles. Yes, I think there's three heavyweights right there before you even get to the Rams. Minnesota as well, you'd put in that mix. Seattle always know how to win, just in their DNA to be competitive. The only way I would give the Rams a chance is there are too many good players on that team to completely disappear. So, and whether that's, let's not even start with Aaron Donald, the obvious, but you've got Brandon Cooks, you've got Robert Woods. I think the jury is definitely still out on Jared Goff. You've got...
But again with Goff, like same, not identical, but a similar thing to Garoppolo, we just tend to collectively overreact in a short space of time.
We do.
Is that what's happening? He had a very strong season last year.
Yeah, we do. But also I look at, and I think we want to, because Sean McVay is such a cool guy and they're a trendy team.
Yeah.
I think we want to make excuses for the Rams a little bit. Well, there's no Todd Gurley the same as last year. You're still an NFL quarterback, Jared Goff. You still should throw for more than 78 yards against the 49ers.
But I would argue that was appalling performance. But I would argue, look at Brady against the Bills, for example. It happens to the all-time greats that they have bad days. Now, I know that there is no comparison there. I'm not making a comparison between those two. But the point being that everyone has a bad day. Goff's had a few bad performances this season. He's clearly not in the zone he was last year. But
no, I think my problem, and this shouldn't, but it's so much is about perception as well. I can't get that image of him looking terrified ahead of the Super Bowl out of my head.
Yeah.
He looked absolutely like he was going to pee down his leg.
Yeah.
And I wonder if in big stages, against Chicago late last year, against Philadelphia late last year, he didn't step up. Now, the counter to that is he was down by 13 in the Superdome.
Yeah.
And he did step up.
Yep.
And he got his team to the Super Bowl. However they got there, they got there.
The finest margins as well. And I know people will point to Belichick's misdirection right before the snap and other just fine-tuning in the Super Bowl. But the finest margins in that game, really.
Yeah, but he missed a couple of big throws. He missed a wide-open touchdown, and then he threw a poor one at the end that got picked off. I think this team is talented enough to be in the mix. They've added Jalen Ramsey. I like Clay Matthews. Aaron Donald, of course, for me, is the best player in the NFL.
Do you like the Ramsey deal for the Rams?
I like that. Do you know what I like? It's just a different way of doing it, isn't it? Their last first-round draft pick was Jared Goff.
Yeah.
What's that, 2016? And their next first-round draft pick at the moment will be 2022.
Right.
They're doing it a different way. Yeah. And it's fine to do it a different way because you're not always going to hit on the draft picks.
Sure.
People thought Marcus Mariota was going to be a hit when he came out for Tennessee. It hasn't happened. It happens all the time.
Jay Bell was on the show last week saying, 50-50, you look at a first round pick. If you're dealing two for Jalen Ramsey, who is an elite player, next 10 years probably, if providing he stays fit, will be at that level.
Yeah.
Then it makes a lot of sense. Plus the cap space as well, they've freed up.
Yeah.
Actually down $5 million on the Peters deal. So.
I mean, I don't buy that kind of argument as well. And it's a narrative, so I ask those questions when I'm in the studio with the guys. They might only have him for a year and a half. Is it a gamble? There's no way he's not going to sign with them.
Yeah.
They've given him some leverage now because they have to sign him.
Yeah.
So Jalen Ramsey, the businessman, is going to take advantage of that. And he's going to laugh all the way to the bank, but
that's
he's
what
worth
they want.
it.
It's the same with the Cowboys and Amari Cooper, right? I know he's gone off the ball a little bit this season, but that's kind of the idea there. That what I loved about that deal was Amari Cooper, if it played out, yes, you got to pay him, but you're going to pay him because it played out.
And he's a proven
Exactly.
a proven performer. I don't mind the way they're building their team, and I think an element of that is trying to win over Los Angeles, but I don't think it's the main thing. I think the main thing is that's just how they see they're going to be aggressive. They believe in proven players, and I wouldn't argue with that. So I think they've got enough talent. We haven't talked about the weaknesses. Gurley is not the same player. Gurley's not the same player.
Will he ever be? Do you think?
I don't think he will be. No, I think when you have that kind of degenerative knee thing, I think then
it's only going one way.
Yeah, it's only going one way, which is sad because I really liked him. Was a dynamic player. He'll have his moments like he did last week against Atlanta, but it's not always going to be. He's not going to take over games and be the centerpiece. And the offensive line's not the same. I was really surprised in the off-season, but then I'm a fan of his because we worked together on NFL UK Lives a few times. I was really surprised they got rid of John Sullivan because he was the eyes and ears of Jared Goff as well, not just a good blocker. And the middle of their line is struggling. So they're not the same team.
That's particularly important with Jared Goff, compared to many other quarterbacks where that level of communication and that safety blanket in that respect, not just in terms of the protection, but in terms of the communication, the leadership there. I get that.
That's an interesting story, isn't it? I think as well, what happened with Jared Goff. It was a great fun story to begin with. It's like, Sean McVay's in Jared Goff's ear talking about all the changes right up until the helmet microphone cuts off at 15 seconds. That was a cool story about McVay. I'm not sure it shows that Jared Goff can cope with the line of scrimmage. In a way, that's a derogatory story for Jared Goff.
It definitely doesn't help his reputation. There's no doubt about that, because the implication is he's just completely being led to water. He can't think for himself. You think of the diametric opposite quarterback, Peyton Manning, who's just calling everything out and doesn't need a coach, essentially. So I think it does undermine him. At the same time, I guess, we talk a lot about system quarterbacks and quarterback situation, the right situation for quarterbacks. Dak Prescott just worked in Dallas. Would Dak Prescott have had the same level of success in a different franchise, and vice versa? You can put, there are certain players that can transcend that. Andrew Luck would have been great anywhere, right? But there are a lot of quarterbacks wouldn't. At the right time, right place. So, I wonder whether too much is read into that. So on the spot then, will they make the NFC Championship game?
No.
You don't think they are?
No, I think they're going to be. I think they'll be a playoff team. I think that they're not. It's not a full-on Super Bowl hangover. They're not completely going through the floor, but some of the shine has come off the team for me. So I think I trust in McVay, and I trust in enough. You just look at the talent they have. I think they're a playoff team, but like I say, there's three I put ahead of them straight away: New Orleans, San Francisco, and Green Bay.
And because they're in the West, they have to do it the hard way as well on the road, most likely.
Hope you enjoyed the Nat Coombs Show presented by Paddy Power Fantasy. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click subscribe to ESPN UK and you won't miss a trick.